I'm not the girl who likes to record herself. Like, I'm not that artist at all.
Well, it's tough to do both things at the same time, produce yourself and sing at
Hmm.
the same time,
It's really tough. It's really tough for me to split my brain as I'm working,
Sure.
and that's what it requires.
Yeah.
But the fact that my engineer moved back to Baltimore and the pandemic kind of forced me to get used to this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I actually set up my mic right here in my bedroom because I have
Yeah.
all these blankets and stuff around and curtains and dampens the
Nice.
sound pretty well. And I have a really good mic.
Yeah.
And it's a very simple setup, for recording. But yeah, if you hear anything from me from 2021 on, it's probably recorded here in my bedroom. The
Oh
2020
man.
stuff, the stuff that I did for you, I did up in my attic.
Oh, okay. It sounded good too. Yeah, I
Cool.
still get compliments on that single. People
Oh,
love you on
good.
that.
I'm glad.
Boy.
That
Yeah, oh
was
man.
fun, but that was
So good.
probably my first Dan, that was the first time I really recorded myself.
Okay.
And
Well done.
thank you. I was so nervous. I
Yeah.
was so nervous because first of all, the song is so dope. I just wanted to make sure I sent you something good.
Oh, you did.
Uh,
And I mean, it's people talk about, obviously we all of us who have studios have nice mics and stuff, but it's a testament to the performance and how
ah,
beautifully you sang on that.
thank you.
I think you probably could have sung on an SM57 and it would have sounded good.
Oh,
It
thank you.
sounded great. You nailed that song.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
But yeah, I think that whole thing, this whole sort of pandemic has really been a test of just being able to sort of roll with the punches in that
Right.
regard.
Right.
So as comfortable as I might have been, with my, usual going to the studio, recording, da da da, doing that, I
Yeah.
had to change and be okay with that. And it took a second to get used to it, but you know, that flexibility is required.
Yeah, especially in this day and age. But, that is I mean, I've worked with a lot of singers, producing a lot of singers
Hmm.
and then singing myself, trying to produce myself singing. It's so
Hmm.
difficult. Like as a singer, you want to just be able to let go. Somebody else can do the editing and be like, hey, you didn't quite hit that one note, go up
Right.
and do that again. And to
Right.
do both of those jobs at the same time it's something we should talk about because it's an important
Yeah.
it's a hard thing to get used to doing,
It's
producing
a
yourself
hard
as a
thing to get
vocalist.
it's a hard thing to get used to doing. Um, like I've always been cool, like producing my own vocal, but the
Mm,
recording and producing part,
yeah,
for some reason, the fact that I have to hit the record button changes everything for me in my brain,
yeah, yeah,
because then I have to think about more than my performance, it seems. I don't even know why that line is there, but for some reason, there's an invisible line that changes the way I have to do things. I think it's because physically
yeah,
I have to actually move to this space and do that, and then walk back over to the mic.
yeah. Right.
And so I have to kind of come out of
Let me turn
come out of my head for a second. And and then I end up doing that thing that sometimes we do, which is let me do it again. Let me do it again. Let me do it again.
Right,
you
right.
know, um,
Absolutely.
ad nauseum. So
Well, yeah, and us engineers are always looking at VU meters and making sure nothing's peaking, and it's a lot to
right,
think about. Your brain to shift into those. You got to like split your brain in half almost.
right, and yeah, and then as I'm recording, as I'm actually singing, I can't really look and see, but I'm thinking
Sure,
about it. I'm thinking
sure.
about it, and I think that's part of that invisible line I was just talking about. Is like gauging, trying to gauge, levels and stuff while I'm singing and,
Yeah,
going back and taking a look at it to see if it looks like it's peaking or not. And it's,
yeah,
all of that kind of
yep,
stuff. Um,
absolutely.
but, and then still trying to make the space intimate and conducive to bringing out the best performance I can give, you
Right,
know?
right.
Um, it's such a weird thing. And then you know, I don't know. I don't have like a studio set up. So I don't have like monitors where I can listen back. I'm just in my
Okay.
headphones. So everything is in my
Gotcha.
head, you know.
Right.
It's
Right.
you know,
All inclusive.
it's all inclusive until,
Oh, man.
until I get in a car or something. Um, but it's just one of those things. Like that's just what it is right now. I just had to sort of get used to that.
Yeah.
And I've gotten way, way better.
Yeah. Practice makes perfect. I think all of us have learned so many lessons that we didn't know we'd be learning during this
Right,
pandemic,
right.
in many different ways. And that's
In
one
a
of them.
lot of different ways, yeah. And I'm really happy that I mean, I'm not happy that the pandemic happened, but I am happy that I got this opportunity to sit still long enough to do things like this, like to
Yeah.
do your project, to work with friends of mine like Rachel Eckroth,
Okay.
people that I've been wanting to work with, but I was literally always in the air.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's been nice to be grounded in this
Right.
way, you know,
Right.
and have time to stretch out, you know,
Yeah.
stretch
Yeah.
out artistically and stretch out, physically.